Hello everyone, and welcome back to one of my adventures at videotaping. Today I want to share a few things that I made for Sin City Stamps, and we are also featuring ColourArte and Gina's Designs laser chipboard. So the first thing I want to share is this card that I made. This is using Sin City Stamps Up and Away stamp set with a couple of the smaller balloons in that set and the word friendship. This has been stamped onto one of their die cut banners, and this particular one, the balloon was stamped directly onto a piece of print paper, which makes it really fast and simple. The background was done with the ColourArte. I'm going to be showing you how to use primary elements today. The second one, this is my favorite, and this is what I'm going to be actually showing you how to do today. This is a tag that I made using just a manila tag. The background, once again, was made using the primary elements from ColourArte. The same stamp as this one was used to stamp on just a plain background and colored with the ColourArte primary pigments. A couple of die cuts from Gina's Designs, another die cut banner from Sin City Stamps, and a portion of, as you can see, it's actually the other half of that stamp there. So it looks like it's, in this instance, it looks like it's going off the stage, and this one looks like it's just entering. So let's get started. Okay, the first thing I'm going to show you how to do is the background on the tag. I'm going to show you, this is just a simple manila tag. This is not one by Ranger. This is one I had in my stash, but you could certainly use the Ranger manila tags. We're going to use the ColourArte primary elements today. I've got 4 colors here. I have Meridian Blue. As you can see, they are a powder, and these are highly concentrated pigment powders. A little bit goes a very long way. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to line them up because we're going to use them pretty quickly. I've got Meridian Blue, Ginger Flower, Olive Vine, and Burnt Umber. And what I'm going to do first is just a simple technique we've used many times, just using different products. I'm going to simply take this soft brush and sprinkle this onto my craft mat. And you can see a little bit is going to go a very long way. I've got a little bit of the ginger flower here. I'm going to put a little bit of olive vine next. I'm just sprinkling it off. And then the burnt umber. And the next thing I'm going to do is spritz this with water. And as you can see, it's making this beautiful coloration here. And then I'm simply going to take my tag and I'm going to smush it down, pick up that color, slide it across, pick up more color, and you're just going to pick it up until you like it. And the next thing I want to do, of course, is I'm going to take my heat gun and very briefly stop the flow of the water at this point. Now this is a naked tag. I have added no medium to it, and it is absorbing directly into the paper. And I will try and get a close-up of how I'm getting kind of a wrinkly effect, such as you would see with paper that's been wet. But it's a very nice texture. I'm not sure if I can make it show up, but let's give it a try. You can see a little bit of the bubbling on the paper. That's actually the paper, it's not the pigment at all. Now I want to add a little bit more blue on this and maybe some of the ginger flower. And you can continue to pick this color up until you like it. I really like the earthy tones I'm getting here, and it's kind of turning into a mauve color. Let's try that once again and see how it goes. It's quite organic, but it has a nice sheen to it. If I can turn that different ways. But I think you can see the organic. It has a very organic feel to it. I will clean this off next, just using a baby wipe, so I can add a little bit more color. And this time I'm just going to put down some blue and some of this ginger flower, which will probably, sometimes when it gets mixed, it'll probably give me a bit of a purple color, which is not a bad thing. But let's just see if we can't get some more of this blue and purple color up here. Oh yes. Oh yes. I don't know if you've ever watched Donna Downey, but she's always talking about how color makes her happy. Well, she's not alone in that one. I think it makes a lot of us happy. I'm going to go ahead and dry that. And let me show you. Yes, I did get a lot of purple in there. Got a little bit of blue over here. You can see the shine, the shimmery shine on there. It's just gorgeous. Now the other thing I wanted to show you before we move on, I have taken a tag and I have coated it with clear gesso that I have put in a dauber bottle. You can buy these online. The bottles come empty. The dauber tops are not attached yet. And I just pour mediums inside of them. And in this case I have clear gesso. I have another one that has white gesso in it, which makes it very easy to apply. And all you do is you just get the dauber started and you add your medium. And then of course you want it to be dry before you proceed. And let me wipe this back up. I'm going to show you the same thing, but I'm going to show you how different it will look simply by putting a medium down first, because the medium is going to prevent the color from soaking directly in quickly. So let's do the very same thing. I'm going to put the Meridian Blue down. I think I'll get a lot more Meridian Blue and a peachy color this time. The ginger flower, some olive vine, and a very small amount of that brown, which I think has a lot of copper color in it, which is very pretty. Once again, I'll spritz the color. I've already run out of water in that little guy. Oh yes. Getting happy again. Okay. And this is the side that's coated. So I'm just going to smush it down. This time I'm not going to drag it right away, because I'll be able to maintain the color combo. But I think you can already see how the color is laying on top of the tag rather than sinking in right away. And it's all depends on the effect that you're going for. And I can still pick up more. So I can you can let it dribble and drizzle and do all sorts of things and just keep picking it up till you really, really just love it. And I think you can see some really really neat effects taking place here. I am going to add a little bit more water. As you can see, I've not added any more pigment, just water. I have so much concentrated color on here, I don't need any more. So I'm going to just stick it all back down in there again. Isn't that just gorgeous? I just love it. I'm going to dry that one more time. And you can continue to pick up color as long as you've got color on your craft mat. There's color to be had. And I think you can see how pretty that looks. Shimmery shine that we get. Isn't that gorgeous? So now we have two very pretty backgrounds, which I will show you here in just a moment. Here's the first one, which I had a lot more brown on there, so it on this one, but it's just as gorgeous either way. And there's two ways to do it, and that's just two ways. There's many, many more. So let's pause here for a moment while I regroup and bring more of my product in. Okay, I'm back and I've collected a few things. The first thing I want to show you is how I store my stamps from Sin City Stamps, and any other unmounted stamps for that matter. I buy these boxes from a company called Unidenture, and they're very nice because they'll sit on a shelf, take up very little room, and you can open it, and I can also put another set on this side. This is my Up, Up, and Away set. I'm going to be using this hot air balloon and this hot air balloon. And this is the friendship that I used in the sample. So all you have to do, these have been cling mounted. You can purchase them either unmounted completely or cling. I prefer cling. So let me take this, and you will need an acrylic block. So I'm just going to simply put that on my acrylic block. And I think I'll go ahead and stamp both of these while I'm at it. Should have room. I'm going to ink up the big stamp with some black, I think I'll do it, archival ink, because I am going to be using water with my primary elements, and you don't want your ink to run. So I'm just going to stamp the one first. And I like to stand for this so I get a good impression. Yes. Now the second thing I want to do, I'll go ahead and stamp this little guy with the green archival ink. I've got him on this piece here, and I can stamp him right there. Okay, and I'll set these aside for the moment, and I'm just going to give it a shot with the heat gun just to make sure that it's good and dry. What I want to show you with how to make some watercolors with your pigments got a palette here, just a simple plastic palette. And as you can see, I've already used some of these colors before. This was to make my sample, but I'm going to show you how I did it from the start. Again, I'm going to use gum arabic. This is by Winsor & Newton, and a little pipette to just pull some out. Don't need very much. I'll be making just a couple of colors here. So I'm just going to add it that way. I'm going to take just a little bit of the blue color and put in with that. I'm going to take some of the ginger flower and I need one more color of yellow. Let me pause and go get that. Okay, I've got two more colors I know I'm going to be using. I've got sunflower and ancient coin. So let me make some color with my ancient coin here, or actually this is sunflower. I'm going to put a little bit in there for my yellow. And I'm just going to add a tiny amount of water to it with this. It's best to use the pipette for this. I've done this before and I've learned from experience. If you want to add just a little bit, use a pipette. And let me get I have a mixed media brush here. And I think I'll use the ginger flower. Isn't that pretty? Oh yes, indeed. So I'm going to be cutting this out, so I don't really care if I go outside the lines. And I am going to leave that line down the middle of the balloon free. And as you can see, the color is transparent. It's leaving a beautiful, beautiful shine. Depending on how much paint you add, you can get it a little bit darker or keep it light. Okay, I'm going to rinse my brush. I'm going to come back and I'm going to pick up, my brush is damp, so I'm going to come back and pick up the blue. I'll put that down the center here. As you can see, I can get it much darker. And that dry. Okay, I do have a little bit of burnt umber left here. I'm not sure I can rehydrate that or not. Okay. Okay, what I'm going to do is actually take a little bit directly out of the jar, being careful not to make a drip. Get me a rather hefty. There we go. I'm going to need to water that down so you can see through it. Okay. Okay, and then I'm going to add just a little bit more of the blue down here for the railing cloth. And I'm going to dry that very quickly. Oh yes, and I did put just a little bit of the yellow color through here just to sort of make it match when I actually add it, and a little bit of the brown to just kind of vintage it up. Okay, and I did do the same. I like to I was going for a more peachy color, so you can sort of, I'm sure you can see how now my color's gotten a little bit peachier rather than that bright purple, which I'm not real fond of for this balloon. But just by adding the yellow in, it's giving it a little bit of a peachy, a little bit more vintage look. And the fact that I added the gum arabic, the gum arabic is a binder, and so this is going to stay right where I put it. It's not going to rub off. Oh, I need to put a little bit down here. Those are a little bit too blue. Okay. Hit it with the heat gun real quick. And there you have it. You can see the shine. Isn't that pretty? I'm afraid the camera's not really doing it justice, but it is really, really pretty. I think I might add just a tad bit of the blue color here. I should turn these around so you can see what I'm going after. Let's see how that looks in there. Well, that's not bad. I've got lots of water here because I really want a very pale look there. And there you have it. I'll go ahead off camera and fussy cut these out, and we'll come right back. Okay, we're about finished. I did take that first tag I did, or the tag that had the clear gesso, and I took some of the color from the palette and added it and dribbled it and just intensified that color. At the same time, because it had the the gum arabic in it. It gave it a shine, but it also fixed the pigment, so it's not going to rub off now. And I will show you in a minute how to remedy that on the other one. But as you can see, isn't it just pretty? I just love the color. You can see the shine, and the colors are so pretty. Now I've fussy cut the large balloon. I've edged it with the vintage photo and a dauber. I did the same to this, the small one. I also did the edge the tag. So we're about ready to assemble. I'm just going to set these aside for a minute. We do have a few more things to make. These are a couple of the Gina's laser cut chipboard pieces. I thought this one was very appropriate. This one says Adventure. And I have a chipboard gear. I didn't have any more propellers such as those on this one. So I'm just going to be using one of the Tim Holtz Ideology spinners. And so let me show you how I colored these. I'm just going to take a wet brush. I've got, I have ancient coin primary elements here. And I thought I'd give this a try. I'm just going to pick some up with my wet brush and put it in that little mixture there and see how it comes out. Oh yeah, this is, I know you can't see it yet. I'm going to try and show it to you. It really makes that chipboard look just like metal. It is absolutely gorgeous. So I can get that. Okay, let me see if I can heat set that real quick. And again, this is not going to come off because it does have the gum arabic in it. The primary elements do need a fixative of some sort, so just keep that in mind. They will go into many mediums: gesso, glazing liquids, which ColourArte also carries, pastes, molding paste. So I think you can see that, how pretty that is. Oh yeah, it's like a piece of metal now. So then I'm going to take the adventure sign and do something similar with that. I'm just applying it directly to the wood, or the chipboard I should say. Take a little bit of umber and give it a little bit of a different aged texture, not so gold. See if you can see how shimmery that is. Is that not gorgeous? Let's see if I can. Okay. Let me heat set these briefly, and I'll come right back. Okay, we're just about ready to finish here. I did want to add my gear to the balloon, so I've just centered it where I want it. And adding my spinner, or if you have some of the Gina's Designs propellers, I just love those. We'll insert that on the back and put that down. And you can shape the balloon with your hands and give it a little bit more of a rounded shape. Decided that I would hang it off this edge, so I want foam tape on this half of the balloon only, which is what I did. And so I will just add the foam tape there, which gives it some nice dimension. Okay, I'm going to take the adventure sign that is dry now, and I'm just going to use some archival black ink and hit those high spots to bring out the letters. Very, very simple to do. And I love the way I'm actually getting some of it is hitting the edges of the banner, which is kind of neat. But can you see that? Very nice. And I did put some foam tape on that, on the back, for added dimension. And we'll stick that down right there at the bottom. Perfect fit. And again, I'm going to cut this balloon in half, and we'll stick that on the edge. And I might add it a little bit. I don't like the white edges on my cardstock showing. I'll just stick that right in there. It's going out of the seam. And we'll add a piece of ribbon through the hole in the tag. We all know how to do that, I'm sure. And there you have it. Your tag is complete. So I hope you enjoyed my tutorial today, and I will have some still shots on the blog for you to look at and get a better look at it. And oh yes, one more thing I wanted to share with you. This tag is the first one I made, and this was only mixed with water and the primary elements, and it does come off. I think you can see on my finger where it's coming off. There are many ways to seal it, but I thought, well, this is Pearl Blue Radiant Rain Shimmering Mist, and it's just a very light iridescent blue, and it'll give this a very nice shine. If you spritz that on it, you are not only sealing it, but you're adding a little bit more shine and shimmer. And once this dries, it won't come off. So you don't have to go out and buy more sealers and things like that when you've got your product already. So just a little tip from me to you. I hope you enjoyed my video tutorial today, and thanks for watching.